Well, Sir Anthony Dominguez certainly imploded last night. Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Hot Stove Media, and today we're recapping last night's game between the Phillies and the Atlanta Braves, as the Phillies lose 7-2 to the Braves as they drop this first game of the three-game series. We only pushed across 2 runs last night, right? A solo shot from Schwartz and Segura. And I guess before we get into this video, please subscribe if you haven't done yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. This certainly was a frustrating loss last night. Of course, we lead 2-1 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. This bullpen has been really, really good since the start of the second half of the season. And you're feeling pretty good, right? I mean, especially since, Dominguez came back. The bullpen did kind of go for a little bit of a rough patch there for, a few weeks when he was on the IL, and it's been even more good, of course, when he came back. Of course, I expected it to be, and Dominguez just absolutely imploded, of course, allowing 5 earned in that bottom of the 8th inning, his fastball was sitting like 92 miles an hour. There's such a drop in velo. I don't really know what's going on. I mean, I still imagine, he's possibly still battling something. I think that it's quite clear. I think it's very, very clear. So it's hard to be, too upset at this guy. And here's Rob Thompson again. Why in the world are you putting Sir Dominguez in a really, really tight spot like that? And of course, Ronald Acuna Jr., the one that hit the opposite field home run to give the Braves a 3-2 lead. This is just a frustrating loss. This is a game you gotta win. I mean, you gotta win. And you didn't. As we pick up the scoring summary here in the top of the 4th inning, Kyle Schwarber homers on a line drive to center field. His 39th of the season, which is a career high for Schwarber. Of course, he did hit 38 in 2019 with the Chicago Cubs. So he has a brand new career high. The Phillies lead 1-0. So congratulations to Schwarber on that accomplishment. No, that is certainly a big one, right? He's definitely going to have 40 on the year. Unless he somehow gets hurt and is out the rest of the season. I think it's going to be pretty much a guarantee that he's going to have now at least 40 home runs on the season. Nice to see him, finish around like 41, 42, which I definitely think he's capable of doing. So he homers off of Max Fried, and the Phillies lead 1-0. Then we pick it up here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Braves tie it as William Contreras homers on a fly ball to center field, his 18th of the season, and the Braves now tie it at 1. So William Contreras, of course, the brother of Cubs Wilson Contreras. Certainly kind of an underrated player, someone you don't really hear too much about. Of course, when you think of the Atlanta Braves, you think of Ronald Acuna Jr., you think of Matt Olson, you think of Austin Riley, but William Contreras is a name that really doesn't come to mind very often. Of course, he has 18 home runs this year very quietly. So you don't really think too much about this guy, but he's kind of under the radar. And then we pick it up here in the top of the 5th inning. Gene Segura homers on a fly ball to left center field. You got goodwill on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Double-digit home runs now for Gene, 10 on the season, and the Phillies now retake the lead 2-1. Gene, the hit machine, right? He's not really known for slugging, right? He only has 9 doubles on the year. He has more home runs than he has doubles. Kind of strange. But of course, Kyle Schwarber also in that category as well. But Gene Segura has some pop. We all know that, right? He can get 10 to 15 home runs a year for you if he's healthy. It's not really much of a surprise. For a little guy, he does have a good amount of pop. Then we pick it up here in the bottom of the 8th inning. This is when the implosion took place, as Ronald Acuna Jr. homers on a fly ball to right field, an opposite field shot. Eddie Rosario also comes around to score, and it's a go-ahead 2-run shot that gives the Braves a 3-2 lead. So that was Acuna Jr.'s 12th homer of the season. He was happy, right? I think every Braves fan, that was in that ballpark was pretty excited. So I'm all for players showing emotion, and of course, in years past, I haven't been, but I love it. I love guys that they get fired up, and I think that's going to help the game. I think that's only going to help the game. Some people were upset by that he was emotional going around the bases. I don't really think too much about that stuff anymore. I think that's what gets people fired up, and I think we need people fired up about the sport of baseball, because I'm not really liking what's happening, right? As I've discussed before, the games being on Apple TV and the access to games becoming more and more limited. This is going to encourage people to watch the game when they see somebody showing their emotion and being fired up. So Acuna, right, he was on track for an MVP season last year when he tore his ACL at Lone Depot Park in Miami. And he's definitely had a tough time adjusting being back, right? He's been back since around May or so, early part of May. But he's done a pretty good job overall. Of course, he was elected into the All-Star game in Los Angeles this year. So the Braves retake the lead 3-2. Then we pick it up here in the same inning. William Contreras does it again as he singles on a line drive to center field. Austin Riley crosses the plate, and it's now 4-2 Atlanta. So William Contreras now makes it a 2-run lead for the Braves. And I pretty much knew it was over. I knew it was over when Ronald Acuna Jr. hit that 2-run shot out to right field. You know why? Because Bryce Harper has been looking terrible. We didn't have Rhys Hoskins last night. Bullpen hasn't really been doing too much. JT Muto wasn't, really looking too good last night either. So I was thinking I'm not really feeling too confident about this one. That is for sure. Then we pick it up here in the same inning. Michael Harris, the second, singles on a line drive to center field. Travis d'Arnaud comes around to score, and it's now a 5-2 Braves lead. So they just tacked on another one just to keep powering it on the Phillies. All these insurance runs, of course, that was off of Nick Nelson at the time. So Brendan Dominguez, what in the world is going on? We'll talk about this more later. Of course, we did discuss it a little bit before, but it's just mind-boggling how bad this guy has been. We pick it up here in the same inning. Ozzie Albies hits a little pop-up into shallow left field. Yanyang Munoz and Bryson Stott were running out there, and Kyle Schwarber is running in, and he dives, and he cannot make the play. How in the world is that ball not caught, and why in the world did Yanyang Munoz or Bryson Stott not catch that? Why put that on Kyle Schwarber? He had to run in, it's way deep. And they were standing right there. Literally, they were standing right here, and the ball dropped, right there when Schwarber, get in front of the ball, call it off. That's just simple fundamentals. And allowed another, it didn't even matter because, of course, we lost 7-2 anyway, but, get in front of the baseball. My gosh, call everybody off. You know what I mean? Just they stand there, watch their teammate try. They're right there, call it off. Get under it and catch the ball. William Contreras and Michael Harris II also come around to score. That was Albie's 16th double of the season, and it's now 7-2 Atlanta. I hate to see stuff like that. I hate it. Clean up that horrible defense. There's nothing I hate more. So goodness gracious. So that would be your final 7-2 Braves. They take the first game of this 3-game series. Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot collects his 39th home run of the season, a career high. He also strikes out once as well. Of course, that was his only hit of the ball game. A .214 average for Schwarbs, 81 RBIs, a .797 OPS. So how about that? I'm very proud of him for doing that. Of course, as I mentioned a million times before, certainly hasn't been the most productive player on this team since the start of the second half of the season. But it certainly is exciting to see a guy hit 39 home runs. That is very, very exciting. And Alec Boehm gets to start out of the 2 holes. He starts at first. And collects a walk and also strikes out once as well as he goes hitless. He's not really been swinging the hottest bat as of late. And I tell you, a guy that really hasn't been swinging the hottest bat as of late is Hart. Hit his performance last night, striking out twice. What in the world is going on with this guy? He looks dreadful. He's just not doing anything. He's over swinging. He's swinging at these pitches that are, off speed and bouncing in the dirt. And he's trying to check his swing. It's just what are you doing? What in the world are you doing? So his average now sits at .301. It just keeps getting lower and lower and lower. I hate to see this. This is just not fun to watch. He has .937 OPS for Bryce. So he's really just been dipping. Ichi Vitola hit his performance last night as well. He only has that one good game on this road trip. That was the second game of that series at Marlins Park, homering twice. Remember, this was against Max Fried last night, a guy that's really not the easiest pitcher to face in their defense. But they just weren't even working good at bats last night, ladies and gentlemen. And Gene Segura, only one hit was a big one. The solo shot to give the Phillies a 2-1 lead at that point. He also draws a walk. So Gene, the hit machine, now with 10 round trippers on the season. His RBI total now goes up to 30 on the year. He has 761 OPS. A .286 average. Bryson Stott gets a start at short, and he goes hitless, but he was able to draw a walk as he also goes down, strikes once as well. He's definitely been cooling off for the last few weeks. He was getting good there for a while, but he's definitely started to simmer back down, and Matt Freeland gets to start out in center and collects a single. Yanyang Munoz gets to start at third as Munoz Sosa was placed on the 10-day injured list yesterday, of course. And he also collects a single as well. Dalton Guthrie, another 2 knocks last night, makes a wonderful running catch, running over 100 feet to catch that ball in foul territory in right field. That was just truly incredible. One heck of a catch by Guthrie. And of course, Rhys Hoskins, no Rhys Hoskins last night. I thought, whatever happened to, he'll be back on Friday, right? Of course, we kept hearing that, he'll be back on Friday. He wasn't back. Just another example of this team just babying the heck out of these players. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It just seems like it was the same thing with Joe Girardi. Of course, why do I expect anything to change? Of course, I think a lot of that is the team doctors. I think that does go above the manager. Ranger Suarez, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, a run reserved, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. A 3.53 ERA. He showed signs of kind of collapsing in that 4th inning, but luckily he didn't. Ranger did his job last night. He just didn't get the whole lot of run support. Of course, he wasn't the most effective, right? I mean, he did walk 3 in just 6 innings. That's a walk on average every other inning. That's certainly not great, but he kept us in the ballgame. He did his job. A 3.53 ERA for Ranger now in the season. He would have been in line for the win because Gene Segura hit that home run in the top of the 5th inning. So that's a little bit disappointing for him. It wasn't like he had some stellar start, though. Jose Alvarado, another 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th inning. I mean, this guy has been clearly the best reliever on this team since the start of the second half of the season. Even when he just came back from AAA. He's just been incredible. And Sir Anthony Dominguez, 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 5 runs, all 5 were earned, 2 walks and 1 strikeout, a 2.51 ERA for Sir Anthony Dominguez. Gets smacked with the loss, now 6-5 on the year, as he gets smacked also with his 2nd blown save of the season. So he seems like he has some of these games sometimes where he just looks absolutely terrible, or his stuff is just catching way too much of the plate. He had a huge drop in velo last night. Of course, sitting like 92 on his fastball, which is extremely low for Sandy Dominguez. That is nowhere near where he lives. He lives way higher than that. He sits in like the high 90s, consistently. There's something wrong with him right now. There's clearly something wrong with him. He clearly isn't back just yet. He could not get himself out of that bottom of the 8th inning as Nick Nelson had come in there, and he struggled to collect the final out. Of course, only 1 run was charged to him, but he also allows 2 hits. Strikes out 1, a 4.74 ERA for Nick Nelson. And I think the fact that Nick Nelson was brought into this game to just trying to, finish out that bottom of the 8th inning, I think is a clear sign that, Rob just said, all right, I'm not really feeling too confident about winning this game. Just get us out of this inning. You know what I mean? Even if it takes you a little while, even if you allow more damage to be done, I just want this inning to be over eventually. So if he really wanted a guy to get it over real quick, he would have brought in a guy like Brad Hand. So that would be your final 7-2 Atlanta, as they unfortunately take the first game of this 3-game set. So of course we have Nola on the mound tonight. It's going to be very interesting. Are we going to see a good Aaron Nola? Are we going to see a choker like we've seen in September past? He had 9-11 record, a 3.31 ERA going against Jake Odorizzi, 5-5 with a 4.15 ERA. I did say we would win 1 out of 3. Hopefully that does happen. But it's not going to be easy. That is for sure. I mean, we've never, ever played well at this ballpark. It seems like we just blow so many leads at this ballpark, too. Go back and take a look at last year, the year before. We just blow so many leads at this ballpark. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So we're notorious for doing that. And there's nothing I hate more than just blowing leads late in the game. Of course, we haven't seen a whole lot of it this year, but we have seen, of course, a whole lot of it over the last 4 years. That is for sure. Go take a look at the standings. The Phillies still sit, pretty comfortably with a 1.5-game lead over the San Diego Padres, who unfortunately did win last night. 80-64 record, while the Padres have been 79-66 record. And the Market Brewers, unfortunately, also do win last night as well, as they're 1.5 back from San Diego, 77-67. 10 games over that 500 mark. The Brewers have always had a flair for the dramatic. They've always really just kicked it up. In the latter part of the season. Remember back in 2019, after they lost Christian Yelich, they still were able to make that wild card spot against the Washington Nationals. Of course, they did lose that, unfortunately. But that certainly was interesting. How they just usually just seem to have a niche for this time of year. While it seems like the Phillies do not, unfortunately. But I still think, the odds are in our favor to make the playoffs, one way or another. So hopefully that can happen. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media link in the description section at Phillies Hot Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Media. Card text 267-225-3392. Email me, phillieshotmedia@gmail.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Luke and I'll talk to you later. Let's go Phillies. See you guys.